and welcome back to the channel this week. This week's video is just a little bit different. I went back in my archive and I found some great images that I had forgotten about. And it made me think that quite possibly my subscribers probably are having the same issue, that they haven't gone back and looked at their archive in quite a while. And maybe you should go back and take a look and see if you've got some great images. And along the way, you get to discover if you've improved, or if you've stayed stagnant, or if maybe some of these images that you have are really good but can be worked on differently because the software has changed. You now have Capture One, which is supposedly better for Fuji files, and Lightroom Classic has come up and up their game some more, and there's some wonderful things that you can do with these images without overdoing it and making them better. And just before the holidays here, I figured that I would sit down and put together a video because I found some great video footage that my son Andy took while we were down at Cannon Beach on the backside. And I figured, what the heck, might as well put something together that's kind of interesting. There's that word again. But just going back to where we were out in Portland, and this is a family outing, and we headed out towards Cannon Beach. That's where our destination was. And we decided that we'd go into Astoria, and along the way we found a great restaurant. I can't remember what it's like, Camp something or other. It's supposed to resemble a logging camp, and there are some great things around there to photograph. And this is a look back to 2015, and I gotta say that this is one of our first trips out there, and it was all new to me, and especially going out to the coast, it was way new to me. And I gotta say that some of the images are just wonderful. And this is a time when I was experimenting with mirrorless, and my MP240 was brand new, and I was getting used to rangefinder again, and focus peaking with the Nex 7. And I used this rig for about a year, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed it, and it put me on a path towards mirrorless. I tried the Sony APS-C lenses, and they were terrible at the time. I don't know if they're any better now, but back then they weren't very good. So I have to say that it was a very learning experience, but it pushed me towards Fuji, which is the good thing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some images and talk about them a little bit, and then we're going to go into the video footage of that my son Andy took, and the images I took along the way. And I think you'll like this. There's some great stuff in here, and maybe there's some gems that you can pull up from this. So let's get on to the video right now. Well, we started out in this crazy restaurant that was made to look like an old logging camp, and got some really great images and just different stuff around. There was an old caboose, and the first shot was of the inside of that, and then this shot here is of the outside of that. And then there was this giant saw blade that was just hanging around, it all rusted up, just really very, very different from what I'm usually used to seeing. Then there was an old pair of boots that had moss growing on it and some beads over the top of it, which was really kind of bizarre, but it was an interesting photograph nonetheless. And then this shot coming up here is of some old shackles and things all rusted up with a pair of logging boots tied onto them. Really, really great. Then we moved on to Astoria, where the clouds were just unbelievable. We had these two tankers sitting in the harbor here, and the conversion over with Silverflex Pro 2 really made such a difference. But I could tell right away that black and white was called for instantly. And then as we moved more out to the coast and Ecola State Park, and I redid these with the new dehaze filter, and put them back into Silverflex Pro 2, and got some great images out of them. Before, they weren't all that great, but the dehaze filter, just added that little bit of contrast and just brightened up the sky even more, which was great. I really enjoying this new software that's come out in the last 3 or 4 years. These shots were taken with the Super Elmar, the 21 millimeter, and as long as you have a nice foreground, it really came out great. And a little bit of extra processing with the new software did the same thing. This one here, also with the 21, came out great. It just, the sky, I was able to enhance the sky a little bit. This next shot here of these flowers up against this fence, also taken with the 21, really great stuff, and the new software really added to it. Now this next shot here taken with the Sony and the 90mm Tele Elmarit, I just love it. It's got so many elements. You got this water leading up to Haystack Rock. You got the kids playing in the water, just the birds flying around. It's great. And this shot here of these clouds, oh, and the coastline, it just looks like this all the time. Now the coup de grace waited around for sunset on the west coast, and I waited long enough to get this beautiful, beautiful pink sky. It was just amazing. Shot standing in the surf with my MP240 and the 35mm Summicron, and I've been able to rework it a little bit inside of Lightroom, and it's become one of my favorite images. Here we are at Haystack Rock out in Oregon, taking some interesting daytime shots. Of course, the problem here is that the light is all wrong. We wanted to be shooting a little bit later in the day, possibly, which I did last night. But very cool angles. We've got some great surf. Now this series of wave shots taken with the Sony and the 90mm f2.8, they came out great. And I had the sky just wasn't vibrant enough in color, so I converted over to black and white in Silver FX Pro 2, and man, they just came alive. And you got to keep that vibrance of those waves and that white, and just showed up against the background. Amazing to me. They just came out so great. Some interesting scale here with these people in the surf with Haystack Rock in the background. It's kind of cool shot. I'm going to show the scale of Haystack Rock. I tried to show that reflection in the foreground in one shot, and it just didn't come out the way I wanted to. But anyway, I digress. The shot here showing scale with this guy standing in the surf actually didn't come out too bad. I just maybe wish I had shot the whole of Haystack Rock and instead of just a little bit of it. Now this guy just standing there in the surf just begged for a photograph. And when I converted it to black and white, it just came alive. It just has something special about it. With that guy just looking off to one side, it just was perfect to me. Happy holidays, everyone, and thanks for dropping by for this video. This should be cocoa, it's tea. Bummer. But anyway, thanks for dropping by this week. We discovered a little bit about our archive, or my archive, I should say, and the fact that there's many images in there that can be redone and made even better and then saved out to a safe place. So, if you wouldn't mind, please drop me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and check out capeandphototours.com. I would really appreciate it. And that's it for this week, and happy holidays, everyone. And remember, it's not what you photograph, it's how you photograph it, and we'll catch you next time.